On the corner of South Bronson Street and Center Street here in Orland. You see some debris down here. Here's something real interesting. This tree is uprooted, heading one way, and the tree across the street is uprooted, heading the opposite direction. And you can see these are large, healthy trees. Uprooted. I gotta take a picture of that while I'm talking to you guys. And then we'll take a picture of this while we're talking. So we're tracking this debris path for the Orland, potential Orland tornado. We're gonna check in here. We keep seeing pieces of debris, sheet metal and stuff scattered through the fields. We found some insulation hung up in some trees. So we're just going to keep an eye. It looks like maybe it touched down somewhere around here. Wasn't at full potential. But this is a direct path through that granary over there to where the barn is down. So we'll keep going with that. Hang tight. Okay, so now we are on the corner of Center Street and Parker Street in Orland. You can see the trees are uprooted in this yard. Kind of facing... They're facing off in that direction. You got the snap telephone pole or power pole here. And then across the street, you've got that tree down and it's facing more of a different direction there. That snap, we're gonna go for a walk real quick. And then these lines down, I know they're dead because RMC and NIPSCO and everybody's been out this way. So we're gonna be super careful. Trees. What I'm looking for is some evidence that they did more than just get blown down. But it's so localized. There's such a narrow swath with these big healthy pines. They've already cut some of them, but they're so healthy. I mean, even with this stand of trees, you can see it's the way that they're facing. They're not uniform. Rinse repeat with this guy who's actually blown over towards us. He's not blown over in the opposite direction. More down limbs. Looks like it's from that tree up there. These are all healthy, but this is directly in line again. If you remember my earlier video, we were over there by the grain elevator with these guys. These are just straight up torn out of the ground. So we're gonna keep moving again. If you go towards that direction, that's where that barn is and that ShopRite. So we are still in the path. But yeah, we're trying to take care of Old Glory here. Corner of Market and Vermont in Orland. There's a lot of insulation that came out of the roof of the Orland Seed building. You can see some of the damage up there. So we were just out in that area down there with those houses before we came up here. This is all the same, again, that same damaged swath. Metal debris from the dryers out here. There's metal debris and siding out in the field there. More out in the field there. But here's what's really interesting. We have the Orland Manor Apartments. Extensive roofing damage. Got that tarped up now. And another tree. Just totally uprooted. But what's really interesting to me is, like, I don't know if they just put that out there today or... That's really intriguing. So if we continue further that way, it's where the barn is tore down. Don't mind the seed dryer going off in the background there. But we're gonna go for a little bit of a walk and I'll show you what I mean about that perfect swath, because I could see through right through here between the buildings. You can kind of get and see the roof of the barn that was taken down. You can start to see it because it's right between there. Then when we come past the apartments here, you can actually see what we're talking about. Now this damage swath continues on to 850 And we will drive up there as well. But again, they're not in the same, none of the trees are down in the same direction really, except if they were in a cluster. There's actually more damage out there. There's a gentleman doing a survey. But here's the field. And there's where you can really start to see the damage. There's trees down there. You can start to see the barn down there. That's ShopRite. And hold on. Let's see. I don't know if we can see it. There's more trees down there. More trees down there. All in the same general area where that's that barn that was taken down. So we're headed over there next. The first trees that we came across, you can see they were very, very healthy. They've already trimmed them. There was a sign here. I took photos of it last night that was ripped up out of the ground. It looks like the National Weather Service may actually be surveying right now. There's another tree that's completely uprooted here. It kind of tore up that little barn a little bit. Again, here's the second tree. It does look like National Weather Service is out here surveying at the same time. It's weird. Or somebody from one of the storm teams. So this is what we're doing.
Channel 15.
It's Channel 15. We'll go talk with him in a second. 120 and 900. I'm not going to go any closer to that barn. It's not very stable. There's some stuff you guys don't really want to see. But you can see there's more damage to the house here, or the additional barns there. We did double check and make sure everybody at that house was okay. They have some structural damage to their porch. But in the field across the street, it is just a minefield. Siding and debris, trees down. Kind of see where the original trees were down. You can see all this is just tore up. These trees are snapped. So one of the things I noticed when I first walked up here, and that's the initial tree that we found down, was right there. And again, there's a sign for 327, a detour sign that was kind of destroyed out there too. I took a picture of that last night. So one of the interesting things that I noticed when I came through here last night, it looks like they've already fixed it. All of these dumpsters were moved. Like they were complete in disarray. So they've already moved all that. There was that sign, I took a photo of it last night. The sign next to the dumpster was like all the way in the middle of the road pretty much. So yeah, it's pretty hefty. So again, more damage there. The damage all the way out in the trees, and if you look all the way across the field, it's like hung up in the trees too. Going. They put up new signs, but it's all out that way. So we are going to continue out that way where we notice more damage off of 850. Sorry, my camera's in the way. And yeah, so I'm going to get you a shot of this barn. 20 and 900 again. It's the back side of that barn. The property. Zoom in real quick. Let's hope there's nothing too gory. There you go. There's a couple photos we took. We'll include in this. It looked like it had been lifted up off of its foundation a little bit. So what we're gonna do, before you get motion sick, you can see additional damage across the street here in I think this is Orland Cemetery, heading off in the direction of the direction this tornado will have taken, or storm will have taken. There's pretty extensive damage in the cemetery. A lot of trees twisted down over there too. So that's where we're headed next. Private property we're not going to trespass. This is on Thistledown Lane here, just outside of Orland. You can see this tree down is pointing to the northwest. Sorry, northeast. It's pointing northeast. And if you look across the pond, if you look across that pond, that fence is down facing a totally different direction. Here, come back just a little bit. We're going to turn around and we'll get you the video. 870 West in Orland, you can see the barn that took a hit just across the field there. 850, where we saw there's actually more damage out in the trees there. I kind of would have come across. Would have been a decent storm. I don't see. Well, there's that one down. And like we mentioned before in another video, across the way there, everything's facing a different direction. So, we have this fence down, going one way, tree down. So that fence is going that way, so off to the northeast. That one's pointed more east-northeast. That tree limb's pointing more direct east. That tree limb's pointing more directly east. There's damage to this tree over here too. And again, it's more pointing directly east. And then there's that tree up there that's pointing almost due north. So you can see it's kind of just like, kind of sort of fanned out. And pulled down some power lines there. I don't think they're anything significant. It looks like it just got pulled out of the ground. But you can definitely see that was more twisted than snapped. Again, if we come over here, tree down, looks like it's pointing northeast. And you can see the big swath of trees snapped down over there. Now those trees across the street, I already showed you guys, they're pointing like every which way. Part of my language. But yeah, there's more damage up this way too. We're gonna go to 850 now. We know there's bigger damage too. This was kind of cool. It pulled up like the cement that was over the tree. We just pulled this tree like pretty much up out of the ground. And you go look at the way this tree is pulled up out of the ground versus the direction this one's pulled up out of the ground. It's like it's in degrees. It's not uniform. Again, that was just pulled up out of the ground. There's some limbs that are a little twisted. Rinse repeat with this one. You can see kind of the twisted kind of bit. Again, it's 870 west, just outside Orland, east of Orland, I should say. Carnage. Getting a little slap at me. Pardon me. But this is the tree stand across 120 from 870 west. And you can just kind of see where it just kind of mowed on through. It just kind of threw things literally every which way. You got some facing east, some facing north. It'd be really cool to get a drone up here and see for sure. This is 120 south of 850, and you can see these trees are blown in our direction here. The tops of those pine trees are all down towards us. Big healthy pine trees. But what's really cool and interesting is that just across the street there's more trees down as it went off into the woods here. You'll see all that snapping. Went off into the woods here towards 850, blown in the opposite direction. So, 850 west. You can see trees down just about everywhere. This is where we happened upon the power line damage. There's a lot on 850 west. I know they were down on the power lines last night. Looks like REMC has come through and done an amazing job as per usual. I know up here at the corner, I want to say it was like 700 and 850. We did see a trampoline that was like thrown into some trees, so we're going to see if that's still there.
Wrapped around a tree.
It was like completely wrapped around a tree, but it doesn't take a whole lot of wind. So we're going to go ahead. They had this, there was a trampoline wrapped around trees over here. There's still damage up in the trees. Sorry, this is everywhere, but you can see some damage stuck up in the trees, and that's, again, kind of in line with everything that we've seen. more tree damage across the street, but I'm not going to make you guys an hostage with spinning you guys around. Hey, there's the damage I said that I saw. What looked like a shed in the trees back there. Kind of hard to see. See if we can get a good shot up here somewhere. This guy across the way here has horses. To the gentleman who owns the horse farm here on 700 and got the skinny, he said that the storm came through and actually ripped the bed liner out of his truck, ripped the wiring out of it, everything, and deposited about 100 yards into the trees behind his home. We're going to be really careful. He's down power lines. He's given us a couple more heads up about a calf barn that had its roof ripped up, carport that was kind of ripped off a house. Now, he did say this neighbor, this is a brand new construction here that we're walking up on. Still trying to avoid these power lines. I know they're off, but they make me nervous. There was a sheriff's deputy not too long ago who wound up getting electrocuted by down power lines he thought was off. Alright, here we go. We'll keep going. There's another road up there that I can come down and get. So this is a brand new construction. This house is going to have to be redone, according to the horse farm owner. He says this sidewall right here got blown out about 5 feet. You can see it's kind of bowed. The garage door is completely toast. And it's got some structural damage beyond that. So there's that. And then again, there's this power pole that just got uprooted, which, I mean, honestly, straight line winds could do this too, but there's not a whole lot more that makes me think straight line versus. We're standing just in front of this house, and you can see the way the sidewall's all buckled. Again, this is a brand new construction with modern construction codes. You can definitely see that sidewall buckled. Holy crap. Holy cow. I want to know who made those windows, though. That's awesome that the windows survive, but the sidewall is completely buckled. Don't mind my crappy videography. Alright, I'm going to walk down a little further and we'll start a new video. The power pole down here on 700. You can see these trees are just tore up. There's crews down there actually working on stuff, but we'll talk to them too. Looks like there's a house down there. It just kind of, there's that part of the tree, and then that part of the tree, and then that one got snapped and barked. Interesting. I don't know how much of that is storm damage with the barking. We'll see. Okay, so it's up to NWS to decide. Another wire down. Again, we're being very, very, very careful here not to get electrocuted. Crews are working. Kind of snap. I believe that this is actually from that tree, believe it or not, because that doesn't line up with that tree, because that tree has no real damage. No, there's that tree. There's a storm off in the background there, huh? But that lines up with that tree. That's the same species, same bark type, and it went the opposite direction. Nice. I don't know if that was on the roof or if that was mounted on those cinder blocks with the wire there, but that's interesting. Again, gotta be really careful. Another tree uprooted up here on the top of the hill. Again, this is 700. Between 850 and I don't know what road that is. I'll figure it out for you. I'll let you know. Alright. This tree's completely down. Looks like they're trying to fix these power lines that are tore up. There's more damage. Looks like they started cutting back here too. Alright. Another one of those really cool instances where you go, well, maybe the difference of straight line winds and tornado. You have your power poles down across the road, right? They're going in one direction. And then this tree is laying down in a completely different direction. It's at an angle. And then if you look how that tree's down, is in a different angle completely again. So it's almost like an arc. You got that one going that way. This one coming straight towards me. And then those down completely. And then that one is going off in a different direction also, somewhere between the difference in direction between those guys, the power poles, and this tree. And then of course you have the snapped limbs that I was saying that looked like it was from here. Those are going off like totally different direction. They're facing the power poles, not facing these trees at all. Interesting.